Martha, I'm really sorry. This is super last minute, but my mom wants to visit this weekend.
Wait, what? Anna's coming here?
Yeah, she made some plans to meet up with friends in the area, and she figured since she's already coming out this way, she might as well stay at our place.
You've got to be kidding me. You're really dropping this on me now? Ray, come on. You need to tell her no. Tell her she can stay in a hotel or something near the station. There's plenty of places.
Yeah, about that. I already told her she could stay with us.
What?
I know, I'm really sorry. I'll make it up to you. I'll bring you your favorite cake or something. Promise.
If you're sorry, maybe you should have said no to begin with. Let me guess, trying to be the good son again? You just can't say no to Anna, can you?
It's been a while since I've seen her. I felt like maybe this was my chance to be a good son, you know? I just couldn't bring myself to turn her down.
If the decision is already made, fine, but you owe me, big time. And next time, don't you dare decide something like this without asking me first.
Thank you, Martha. I swear next time I'll say no right away. Really, I'm sorry. Thank you for being so understanding.
Now that's how a husband should behave. Firm, commanding, in control. I must say, I'm quite proud. Looks like all those years raising Ray weren't for nothing. A cheeky little wife like you, sometimes she needs to be reminded of her place. Getting tossed out once in a while is just right. I've told you time and time again, stay out of our marriage. The Ray I fell in love with was kind, considerate. That's the man I chose. But every time you interfere, every trace of that tenderness disappears. Oh, hush already. You talk big for someone who hasn't even managed to give us a single grandchild yet. Want to have a say in this family? Then start by giving birth to one. You belittle me for being your daughter-in-law, pressure me constantly to give you grandchildren, and now you're gloating about me getting kicked out? How many landmines do you plan on stepping on before you finally back off? Me stepping on landmines? Oh no, dear. You're the one walking right into disaster. You got tossed out by your own husband after serving him that pitiful excuse for a meal, and then you still have the nerve to talk back? You got exactly what you deserved. Serves you right. What? You know, the house feels so much more peaceful without you here. I think I might just stay for a while. Feels like a proper home now. Excuse me? Someone who got thrown out doesn't exactly have the right to make demands, do they? Besides, I'm sure Ray will be happy to let me stay as long as I like. He always says yes when I ask, doesn't he? You can't be serious. You actually plan on staying? How long are you going to keep squatting in my house while I'm locked out of it? What, am I just supposed to wander the streets until you feel like leaving? Oh, I don't know. Maybe forever? Wouldn't that be convenient? No wife to challenge me, no meals to suffer through, no attitude to deal with. Honestly, I think this arrangement suits us all just fine. You can't be serious. Anyway, I'm feeling quite full now. Ray rushed out earlier to get us that fancy sushi I love. What a sweet boy. So I think I'll go curl up under the warm blankets and sleep like a queen. You enjoy wherever it is you end up tonight. Try not to catch a cold.
Hey, Martha, when the hell are you coming back? It's dinner time already.
What?
You're my wife, aren't you? Then why the hell are you getting home later than me? Both Mom and I are starving over here. So hurry up and get your ass back here and cook.
I told you to stop talking to me like that. And you've got some nerve demanding dinner when you're the one who threw me out yesterday. You don't get to kick me out like garbage and then act like I'm supposed to come crawling back and serve you like nothing happened. How selfish can you possibly be?
Shut up! A wife has no business talking back to her husband like that. What's wrong with me wanting to run this household like a proper man should?
Excuse me?
Look, I know Mom can be a bit old-fashioned, okay? But would it kill you to try and get along with her just a little? Maybe try listening to me once in a while instead of always pushing back. Just stay quiet, do what I say, and take care of me. Is that really so hard?
Ray, what the hell is wrong with you? Where is this even coming from?
I'm tired, Martha. I'm tired of always being stuck between you and my mom. If you'd just try, just once, to get along with her, I wouldn't be so stressed all the time. Why can't you just read the room and be a decent wife already?
A decent wife? Are you seriously saying that to me right now?
Honestly, you're too stubborn. I thought maybe if Mom came and stayed with us for a bit, you'd finally try to meet her halfway. But nope, same cold attitude as always. Do you ever stop and think about how hard it is for me?
Wow, so all that time you were apologizing to me, telling me you understood. You were just pretending, huh? You actually agree with your mother. You think wives should just shut up and obey?
I mean, come on, isn't that just how it's supposed to be? The wife takes care of the home, cooking, cleaning, laundry. The husband pitches in a bit, sure, but that's not really his domain. And you're always banging on about equality and fairness. It's exhausting. I'm over it.
We both work full-time jobs, Ray. We both come home exhausted. What's so wrong with sharing the housework?
Yeah, we both work, but food just tastes better when a woman makes it, you know? Guys don't unwind by scrubbing dishes. They relax when the woman they love takes care of them. That's just facts.
So that's what this is. No matter how many times you said sorry, you never really meant it. Deep down, you think like Anna. You see me as some convenient live-in maid. And no matter what I do, you'll always let her walk all over me.
Stop overthinking everything and just come home and cook dinner already. A real wife should be making a proper meal for her tired husband. And if you try to serve that vomit-worthy fried chicken again, don't even bother knocking. You won't be let back in.
You must be mistaken. I don't have a husband anymore.
What?
We're divorced, Ray, so I won't be setting foot in that house ever again. And I certainly won't be cooking dinner for you or your mother. Why don't you order sushi again like yesterday? Good night.
Wait, what the hell are you talking about? What do you mean, divorced? You can't just throw that word around.
You threw me out over something petty. You humiliated me in front of your mother. I was angry. So angry I couldn't sleep. This morning, I went and filed the divorce papers.
Hold on, what? What?
It's done. The papers were accepted. We're no longer husband and wife. We're strangers now.
No, you're not serious. Tell me you're not serious. You can't just file for divorce on your own. I never signed anything. You need my signature. You can't just do that without me.
Oh, don't worry. I used the signed copy you gave me years ago.
What? What are you talking about?
You remember that fight we had about Anna a few years ago? The huge one, where we nearly ended it for good? We made up eventually, but we went so far that we both signed the divorce papers, just in case. I kept them, like a keepsake. A reminder of how bad things got and how hard we fought to fix them. I never thought I'd actually use them, but now I'm glad I did.
You've gotta be kidding me. So we're actually divorced now? For real?
That's right. You didn't want me as your wife anymore, so now you got what you wanted.
But I didn't mean it like that! I don't want a divorce! Why would you throw away our marriage just because of one fight?
Because your mother said she plans to stay in that house for a while, and I've had enough. You act like a completely different man when she's around. Cold, arrogant, performative. Even when you apologize, it's empty. No sincerity, no change. That's not something I can live with.
But...
And the final straw, you threw away the meal I made. After everything I put into it, planning it around your tastes, worrying if you were too tired to choose something tough, adjusting the seasoning, trying to make something comforting, and you tossed it in the trash like it meant nothing.
It was just one meal! You're really gonna leave me over something that small?
Small? You think it's small? Let me tell you something, Ray. Even when I didn't want to, even when I was exhausted, I still cooked. Not because I was supposed to, but because I loved you. I wanted to make your life easier. I wanted to give you something warm when you came home. That food represented my care, my effort, my love, and you spat on it.
I didn't mean it like that!
I'm not Anna's dream daughter-in-law, and I'll never be the obedient little wife you apparently think I should be. But I did love you. I gave everything I could to this marriage, and now, after all that, you're telling me I should just shut up and serve you like some housemaid? If that's the life you want, go become an oil tycoon and hire someone to pamper you. Don't expect me to do it.
Martha, just slow down. Let's talk this through.
There's nothing left to talk about. I'm not going to change who I am, and clearly you're not going to change either. We were always walking parallel paths, never meeting in the middle. This divorce just came a little sooner than I expected. That's all. And honestly, I don't regret it.
Wait, Martha, please! I don't want this! Let's at least sit down and figure something out, please!
No, Ray, there's nothing left to figure out. We're done. Goodbye. I heard from Ray. So, the wife is the one asking for a divorce? You really are arrogant right down to the bitter end, aren't you? But honestly, I couldn't be happier. I've hated your guts since the very beginning, so good riddance. Of course. I figured you'd be thrilled. I could almost hear your smug little cheer from a mile away. I always thought my sweet son deserved a sweet wife, not someone like you. Now that the nuisance is finally out of the way, maybe he and I should live together again, Actually, I'm thinking I'll personally find him the perfect wife. Someone gentle, someone respectful, someone who deserves him. Oh, I think that sounds fantastic. Let's hope you find someone just as sweet as you want, and maybe even someone who can support him like I did. Because without a wife who earns what I do, he'll probably be saying goodbye to this apartment too. Huh? What do you mean, say goodbye to this apartment? Oh, that's right. I don't think I ever mentioned this, but this apartment, it's actually leased under my name, and every single month I've been the one paying the full rent. What? Wait, Ray's not the one paying for this place? Not a chance. To be honest, Ray couldn't afford it if he tried. This place has great amenities, perfect location, and the rent is pretty steep. It's only because my salary is more than triple his that we were able to afford it comfortably. Triple? You're saying you make 3 times more than my Ray? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm sorry to disappoint you with that little fact right at the end. I know women earning more than their husbands doesn't sit well with your traditional values, but it's the reality. So, wait, you're telling me Ray can't afford to keep living here on his own? It's not impossible, technically. But he'd be spending over half his monthly income just on rent. That doesn't leave much for food, transportation bills, or, well, life. Half his income? Maybe it's different in your hometown, but around here, it's quite common for wives to out-earn their husbands. Anyway, I'll be heading out shortly to terminate the lease. If Ray wants to keep living here, he'll need to contact the real estate office himself and sign a new contract, under his name this time. Wait! Martha, hold on! What is it now? Let's just take a step back and talk this through. Now that I think about it, we've never really sat down and had a proper chat, have we? No tea, no casual conversation. Maybe that was our problem. You know what? That never happened because we never got along, and I don't see how chatting over tea would have made your snide remarks any easier to swallow. But maybe next time... Next time we meet, we could try again, talk properly, enjoy ourselves. Maybe we just misunderstood each other all along. How about we have a nice tea party, just the two of us? I feel like we could finally get along, don't you? How sweet of you to say. But I have no interest in being friends with someone who only wants to make peace after realizing they might lose their comfortable life. What? You can't be serious! Seeing you panic the moment you found out how much your daughter-in-law earns, it's very unlike you. Not arrogant, not cruel, just scared. But anyway, I've got things to do. Goodbye, Anna.
Please, Martha, I'm begging you, just come home. I swear I'll never throw you out again. I won't ever disrespect your cooking or toss away a single meal you've made. I promise. Please, just don't leave me. Don't give up on us.
I'm sorry, but I already did. And the thing about throwing something away, you don't go back digging through the trash for it afterward. I've moved on. There's no going back. So do yourself a favor and start accepting that.
Please don't say that! I swear I'll change! From now on, I'll act the same way in front of my mom as I do when we're alone! I get it now, trying to act like the head of the household, being that old school kind of man, it's outdated and toxic. I was stupid to think that was something worth admiring. I swear to you, Martha, I won't ever go back to that again. Please, just forgive me!
See, Ray, I'm not even against the idea of a traditional marriage structure, necessarily. I really do believe there's no one right way to be a couple. If both people genuinely agree on how things should work, if they're happy and treated with respect, then that's fine. But we didn't agree. I didn't agree. What you called being the man of the house was just you using it as an excuse to silence me, to ignore what I felt, to make me feel small. And I can't, I won't accept that anymore.
I understand, I do! I swear to you I'll never treat you that way again! I can't live without you, Martha. I need you! You know how much I love you! You have to know that!
Yeah, I do know. That's what makes this even harder, because when it was good between us, when you were kind and loving, you were an incredible husband. But when it was bad, you were careless, cruel even. Your flaws they weren't just flaws. They broke something in me, something I can't just patch up and pretend didn't happen. And that's why, no matter how many sweet words you say now, I won't come back. Reconciliation? It's not an option.
I can't believe this!
You'll be okay, Ray. Your mom already said she's going to find you the perfect little wife, remember? Someone obedient, someone sweet. Maybe next time she'll find you someone a little more tolerant.
I don't want anyone else. I want you. I'll get on my knees if I have to. Hell, I'll cut ties with my mother if that's what it takes. If that's what you need, I'll do it. I'll do anything. I swear I'll make her back off.
You're too late. You didn't protect me when it mattered. You didn't stand up for me when your mother made me feel like I didn't belong in my own home. You let her humiliate me day after day, and now that you've realized what it cost, now you're ready to draw the line?
I wasn't strong enough before. I see that now, but I can be better. I will be better.
That's something you should have figured out before you lost me. Now it's just too late. Take care of yourself, Ray. After everything that had happened, I immediately ended the lease on the apartment. But as expected, Ray couldn't manage to pay the rent, so he ended up taking Anna and returning to his hometown. It was clear that they were both running away from the consequences of their actions. Ray, perhaps, was hoping that going back to a place where he was once familiar would somehow offer him the solace he desperately needed. But, in reality, the situation was far more complicated than either of them had anticipated. From what I hear, Anna hasn't given up hope. She's determined to find the perfect wife for him, saying things like, "I'm going to find him the best wife in the world." She's been working tirelessly on it, trying to secure a future for Ray, but it seems like the reality of their situation has become more complicated than she anticipated. It turns out that Ray's earnings were far lower than anyone had imagined, and finding a woman who would willingly marry him has proven to be more difficult than she thought. She's been desperately looking for someone who could tolerate his flaws, but the more she searched, the more it seemed like no one was willing to step into his life. Anna had always been someone who believed that with enough effort, things could be fixed. She had spent so much of her time trying to help Ray, trying to mold him into something better. She believed that if she found the right person to marry him, it would all fall into place. He would change. They would be happy, and their lives would finally be stable. But with each passing day, it became more and more apparent that Ray was a lost cause. It wasn't just his financial troubles. It was his mindset, his complete lack of self-awareness, his inability to take responsibility for anything, and this was the crux of Anna's frustration. She had spent so much energy trying to fix someone who didn't even want to change. What Anna didn't fully grasp was that Ray wasn't just lacking in money. There was something deeper, something darker, that made it hard for anyone to stick around. Ray had always believed that things went wrong in his life because of others. And over time, that belief only grew stronger. Now, whenever he talked about the past, it was always the same story, how everything was his mother's fault. It was as if he couldn't see any of his own mistakes. His own shortcomings. He would tell anyone who would listen that divorce is all because of Mom, or that Mom ruined everything. And worse, he would claim that Mom was the one who made me miserable. These twisted thoughts seemed to consume him more with each passing day. This was the extent of his reality. Ray didn't seem capable of facing his own failings, let alone correcting them. His bitterness, his self-pity, and his obsessive need to place blame on others consumed him, and it left no room for growth. With this mindset, there was no way he could ever move forward in life. There was always someone else to blame for his shortcomings. His mother, his ex-wife, society, and so on. It was everyone else's fault, except for his own. And the more he clung to this belief, the more he dug himself into a hole that he couldn't climb out of. And when things got really bad, after a long day of drinking, after a binge of self-pity and anger, Ray would become a completely different person. He would get violent, drunk beyond control, and take it out on Anna. The situation was getting worse by the day. Whenever he reached this state, he would lash out at her, calling her names, accusing her of being the reason he couldn't move forward. It was as if everything that went wrong in his life was somehow her fault. The worst part was that, despite Anna's efforts to stay strong for Ray, the emotional abuse she was enduring only seemed to make matters worse, and with Ray's uncontrolled rages, there was no real end in sight. I could only imagine how much pain Anna was going through. She wasn't just trying to fix Ray. She was also trying to hold on to a hope, a dream of what their life could be like if only Ray would open his eyes. But the truth was that Ray wasn't the same person anymore. He had changed, and not for the better. The man she had married was no longer the man standing before her, and she was stuck in a cycle of trying to salvage a relationship that was beyond repair. I heard Anna's screams echoing through the neighborhood on several occasions. It wasn't just a cry of pain, it was pure terror. She would shout for him to stop, but it was as if Ray couldn't hear her anymore, or worse, didn't care. It was as if all of his bitterness and self-loathing had manifested into these violent outbursts. It got so bad that I'm sure everyone in their hometown knew exactly what was going on. Every neighbor, every passerby had heard the angry shouts and the violent banging. It seemed like the damage had already been done, and Ray had spiraled so deep into his own bitterness that no amount of pleading could save him. What was even worse was the effect this had on Anna's mental state. She had always been a strong woman, but this relentless emotional abuse was breaking her. It wasn't just the physical strain of trying to manage Ray's erratic behavior, but the emotional toll of seeing him spiral out of control and not knowing how to help him. It was slowly eating away at her, and with each passing day, she lost a little more of herself in the process. She had poured so much of her energy into trying to fix him. But the reality was that Ray didn't want to be fixed. He had to want it himself, but he was too consumed with anger and resentment to see that. The worst part of it all was the fact that Anna, despite her efforts, couldn't find anyone who was willing to marry Ray. With his unpredictable nature, his self-destructive behavior, and his apparent inability to understand the consequences of his actions, it was no surprise that no one wanted to be with him. After all, who would want to marry someone who constantly blamed everyone around him for his problems? Who would want to build a future with someone who believed the whole world was out to get him? Anna's quest to find a perfect wife for Ray was becoming increasingly futile. It became clear to me that Ray wasn't the only one struggling. Anna was too. She was fighting her own battles. She was trying to do the right thing, trying to make up for everything that had gone wrong in Ray's life, but all her efforts were falling flat. She had hoped that by finding him the perfect woman, everything would magically fall into place. But the reality was that the more she tried to fix him, the more she became entangled in his problems. As much as I wanted to sympathize with Anna, it was hard. She had made so many decisions that led to this point. And now she was paying the price. Ray wasn't the man he used to be, and it wasn't just because of his finances. He had turned bitter, angry, and resentful. And the worst part was that he had started to take it out on the one person who was trying to help him, Anna. She was the one who was constantly there, trying to soothe his rages, trying to calm him down when he spiraled out of control, but it wasn't enough. And no matter how hard she tried, it was never going to be enough.
Thank you for watching all the way until the end. If you felt good after watching this video, please like the video. If not, please leave a comment and give us your feedback. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Your comments and likes help this channel grow. We hope you enjoy our other stories as well.